Grasshopper tutorials are making you fall behind. Recently, I've been thinking a lot about why so many architects and designers watch Grasshopper tutorials for months, sometimes years, but still feel stuck when they need to create something on their own. And I want to be very clear from the beginning. Tutorials are not bad. Tutorials are great. I learned from tutorials too. I'm still learning from tutorials too. My students, they learn from tutorials too. My clients learn from tutorials too. Tutorials can be extremely helpful, but there is a problem. If tutorials are becoming your main vehicle to learn Grasshopper, at some point they can actually make you fall behind. Because you may feel like you're learning, but many times you're mostly learning how to follow instead of building things. You're not always learning how to think while watching tutorials. So in this video, I want to break down this issue in 6 parts. Because the goal is not stop watching tutorials, the goal is to stop depending on them. The goal is to become someone who can open Grasshopper, understand the design problem, build the logic, and create their own architectural work. So let's talk about the tutorial trap. The first problem is that tutorials feel productive until you need to do something on your own. When you are watching a tutorial, everything feels clear. The instructor knows what they are doing. They know which component comes next. They know which slider to use, which panel to use. They exactly know the final result and how it should look like. And because you're following them, you feel like you understand it. You pause the video, you copy the command, you copy the component, you connect the wire, you move the slider, the results start to appear on your screen too. And it feels good. To this day, it's still feeling good. You feel like you made something, but then tutorial ends. And the next day you open the Grasshopper for your own project, suddenly it completely feels different. There's no instructor, there's no text, there's no component list, there's no final image to copy. Now you have to decide, where do I start? Because all the ingredients were given to you as you were watching the tutorial. The next question that you will be seeing is, or thinking about is, what is the input? What is the rule? What kind of rule? What is changing? What is staying same? What should be controlled, and maybe what should be automated? And this is where many people freeze, because the tutorial trained them to follow a certain path, but it didn't train them to create the path. And when you are working as an architect, you usually need to create your own path as you design. A simple way to understand this is tracing, okay? Imagine you are learning how to make architectural drawings, and every day you trace someone else's plan. At the beginning, traces helps. You understand line weight, you understand proportion, you understand how a drawing needs to be organized. You understand how walls, openings, stairs, and rooms are represented. But if all you ever to do is trace, then the moment someone gives you a blank page and says, now draw your own plan, you will struggle. Because tracing helped you to copy the result, but tracing didn't fully teach you how to make decisions, right? Where should the entrance be? Where should the rooms be connected? What is the circulation? Where is the circulation? What is the material? What is the structure? What is the logic of the plan? And so on and so forth. Tutorials are doing the similar. Following a tutorial is like tracing someone else's logic. It helps you see how something was made. It helps you understand a workflow. It helps you get familiar with the interface. But it doesn't automatically teach you how to build your own logic from a blank page. This is why so many people can create a beautiful parametric facade from a tutorial, but when they try to apply the same idea to their own project, it falls apart because their project has different, for instance, curves, different constraints, different context, different layout, different goals, right? And also different mistakes. At the end, then they need to start thinking, instead of copying. Tutorials solve a specific problem, not your problem. This is very important. A tutorial is usually built around one clean example. The instructor already selected the geometry, they've already prepared the curves, points, lines, whatever. They already know the results, they already simplified the problem. So the tutorial solves that particular situation, but your project is not that situation. Your project has its own site, you have your own idea, you want to come up with your own form, you have a particular scale, and you have particular constraints. And on its own, you will have your messy parts where you want to fix and make it better each and every iteration. So when you copy a tutorial directly, you are trying to force someone else's solution into your problem. It sometimes, to be honest, it works, but many times it doesn't, and it creates more problem for you to solve along the way. It's like using someone else's Google Maps route. Their route might be perfect for them. It starts from their house, it goes through their city. It avoids their traffic, it avoids the tolls, and it takes them to their destination. But if you start from a different place and use exact same solution for your destination, the directions will not be for you. That's what happens with many Grasshopper tutorials. The tutorial tells you what to do, but it doesn't always teach you how to adjust your logic for your own starting point. In real architectural work, the adjustment is everything. This is why I always tell my students, clients, people who I work with, that the important question is not only which tutorial should I watch, the better question is, what is my actual problem? Do I need to create a repeated system? Do I need to control spacing? Do I need to generate curves? Do I need to create variations? Do I need to create fabrication drawings? Do I need to automate the production? Do I need to translate a physical model into a digital logic? How I can express this in my portfolio, or how I can put this complex system into my web page, and so on and so forth. So once you know your problem, tutorials become useful again, because now you're not watching them blindly. You are searching for a specific solution, that missing piece, so that you can take that missing piece and adjust your solution with that missing piece. That is a very different way of learning, and that's the second step. The third problem is that tutorials can become a way of avoiding real learning. This one is uncomfortable, please bear with me, but I think it's so true. Sometimes watching tutorials feels like an action. You sit down as you eat, you open YouTube, you watch a 30-minute Grasshopper tutorial. You take notes, you maybe follow along, and at the end you feel productive. But did you actually struggle with your own project? Did you make a decision? Did you test your own geometric solution or idea? Did you get stuck and debug the problem? Did you try to explain the logic again and again? Did you build something that belongs to your logic, your way of thinking? Sometimes, to be honest, most of the times when you watch a tutorial, the answer is no. And this is where tutorials can become a safe place. Because when you're watching a tutorial, the risk is super low. You're not really making your own decision. You're not really facing your own problem. You're not really dealing with the messy part of learning, which is the hardest part, by the way. You're watching someone else handles that difficulty, and that can feel comfortable. But real learning starts when you start feeling slightly uncomfortable, when something doesn't work, when your list doesn't match, when geometry disappears or explodes, or when the slider breaks the entire system, freezes your computer, and forces Rhino to be closed. That is where real learning happens. A simple metaphor for this is going to the gym. Watching workout videos can help you understand the good form, or it can show you what kind of exercises exist. It can give you ideas, but your body doesn't change from watching someone else lift the weight. The fourth problem is that many tutorials skip the why. This is one of the biggest reasons people stay stuck. A tutorial often says add this component, connect this input, right click here, left click there, change the color, change the value, change the name, so on and so forth, flatten this, flatten, graph that, and so on and so forth. But the real question is why? Why this component? Why this order? Why this input? Why this data structure? Or even at the beginning, why this geometry? Why this method instead of another one? And if you do not understand why, you may be able to recreate the file, however, you cannot adapt the idea. And this is especially dangerous in Grasshopper because the definition can look like it works. You might see the geometry on the screen, you might get a cool result, you might even render it, but if you cannot explain the logic, then the project is weaker than it looks. This matters a lot for architects and designers because if you put a Grasshopper result in your portfolio, the image is not enough. People need to understand the thinking behind it. What was the rule? What was the system? What was the context? What is the solution? What is the problem solving capabilities or skills that you're showing through this project? This is why I talk so much about building a strong base. Before complex definitions, before any plugins, before any advanced tutorials, you need to understand the basic language of geometry. Numbers to coordinates, coordinates to points, points to lines, lines to curves, curves to arcs, and all those kind of things. So system become the architectural idea. And if that base is weak, then the tutorial might give you an output, but it's not going to give you the ownership. And the ownership is what you need if you want to use Grasshopper in your own work. The fifth problem that I see over and over again is that watching tutorials can make your portfolio look generic. This is something many people don't realize. If everyone watches the same YouTube tutorial, many portfolios start to look the same, right? The same attractor points, the same twisted towers, the same analysis, same simulations, same Voronoi, same things all over the place. Again, the problem is not the tutorial. Tutorial is good. It's aiming to teach you something, but the problem is that tutorial becomes your final project or your project to be shown in the portfolio. However, it should give you a method, an idea, a technique, or a way of thinking that you can transform your own design idea into a solution or into a tangible outcome. But if you copy the final result simply, your portfolio may look clean, but it will not show your own architectural thinking. It will show somebody else's solution that is regenerated, populated in your portfolio. And in a portfolio, this matters because the goal is not only to show that you can follow instructions in portfolio, right? The goal is to show what you can think. You can develop a design, you can make decisions, you can create a process. You can communicate the logic behind your work. This is what makes your portfolio and yourself stronger as a designer. And last but not least, the sixth point. The sixth point is really important. Tutorials are actually great when you have a strong base. Once you understand the fundamentals, tutorials become much more powerful so that you can use them to fill the missing points, filling the gaps. Because you are not following blindly, you're looking for some certain solution. You're extracting information. You can watch a tutorial and say, I don't need the whole thing. I can skip to minute 15 and learn this method only, or this component only, or I need to organize the way that I see in this tutorial, and so on and so forth. So that's when, or this is when tutorials become super useful. It's like using a dictionary when you already understand the language. If you don't know the language at all, opening the dictionary doesn't mean that you can speak, talk, or understand anything, right? But if you already understand the grammar, the structure, and the basis of the language, the dictionary becomes super powerful. You can expand your vocabulary, you can express more, you can be more precise, and the same goes with Grasshopper. Tutorials can expand your vocabulary, but they cannot replace the basic grammar. They can teach you new methods, but they cannot replace your ability to think through geometry. So the answer is not stop watching tutorials. The answer is to change your relationship with tutorials. Instead of asking, what tutorials should I follow next? Start asking, what am I trying to understand? Instead of asking, how do I copy this result? Ask, what is the rule behind this result and how I can adapt this to one of my current architectural problems. Instead of asking what component did they use, ask why did they use that particular component. That shift is super important, because the moment you start thinking like this, tutorials stop being a trap. They become a tool, and at that point, you should use tutorials. You shouldn't depend on them, you should learn from them. You shouldn't let them replace your own thinking. And if you feel like you've watched a lot of Grasshopper tutorials, but you cannot still create your architectural work, this is probably your problem. You don't need more random problems. You don't need more random tutorials. You need structure. You need a stronger base. You need to understand the geometry behind the components. And if you feel stuck in this tutorial mode, or if your portfolio has Grasshopper experiments but they don't become strong architectural work, I left my calendar link below. You can book a call with me. We can look at where you are at right now, what is blocking you, and what kind of roadmap would make sense for you. Because the goal is not to watch tutorials forever. The goal is to build your own design logic. And once you can do that, Grasshopper becomes much more than a software. It becomes a way of thinking through architecture. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.